guys, how you doing? Rabea here again. Hope everyone is good. We're still before Christmas, so I'm going to say it again, but I hope everyone has a good time at home with their families or loved ones respectively. Hope you have a good Christmas either way. Another little quick overview video demonstration before we wrap up for Christmas, and from the lovely people of Boss. So Jamie, thanks for sending these across. This is the Boss TE-2, the Tera Echo. Now that is a new pedal. Well, it's not super new, but it came out earlier on this year. It's basically a really intense kind of, well, it is an echo, you know, like it is a form of delay slash verb, however you want to look at it. It kind of sounds like it's got some sort of built-in filters and different effects that happen throughout using it, and obviously you can mold it and shape it just like you could on any other classic Boss pedals. With regards to the way it looks, standard stomp box design, trusty things. I mean, you could throw it down a flight of stairs and it would still work. That's one thing I love the most about Boss. Their stomp boxes are just durable. They'll last you, they'll see you through the thick and thin, all gigs, all that kind of stuff. You can spill beer on it, you can do anything to it. And it will probably still work. 9 volt battery powered, or you can use a standard adapter, which is what I'm using it for now. I've got this hooked up through the loop in my JVM along with my other pedals down on the floor, which I'm not going to engage for the demonstration until I move on to sort of more personal favourites. So I've got the timeline and the Mobius rigged up ready to show you how I blended it together. So the layout's pretty straightforward on the TE-2. So if we move from left to right, I'll just give you an idea of what the different knobs do. So obviously echo level, the level of the overall effect that you're engaging. You've also got tone, which is basically a high shelf, so it'll pull away some of the high frequencies and give it a bit more of a muffled sound depending on what you want. That can be useful for if you're doing a lot of picked parts and you want to hear the pick attack and the initial note that you're playing. You don't want it to clash too much with the echo, so you'd roll a bit of that off to make sure it sits nicely underneath what you're actually playing. Feedback, which is how many times the echo will repeat. Again, the louder you have that, it's just going to carry on going, and it's actually going to get turned into a feedback loop and increase in volume until, you know, it gets so loud that it's just intense. And lastly, something called S-time, and that's specific to the pedal. It stands for spread time, and the effect of the pedal is controlled by this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the effect just simply by reducing the feedback, pushing the effects level up to a clearly audible level, putting tone on full so you can hear the intricacies of the effect, and then putting the spread time on full so you'll hear the exact full length of that particular effect, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to sound an E string, I'm going to snap it first so you can hear it nice and quick and see how it works, and then I'm going to hold it on so you can see how it blends together with the note. So first, what it sounds like is a synth shooting through into the signal. But actually, as it slows down, it starts to sound, if you imagine swinging a baseball bat. Now, stay with me on this. If you swing a baseball bat really fast or a long piece of thin wood, you get that kind of sound as it flies past. Now imagine that sort of spinning it from the middle and both ends go kind of sound. That's the best way of me describing what's going on there. So as the effect, as the signal starts and you hear the effect come in with the note, it starts really high, and then it's almost as if the low end is added afterwards automatically. So it starts like a click and then it slows down into this big sort of whirring sound along with that original synth note. I'll do it one more time. So hopefully you could hear what's going on there. But as it starts, it's really crystal clear, and then it kind of slows down into a whirring whoop, 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 whoop sound. That's really quite a nice effect. I think I like it from first impressions because obviously it sounds a bit like a delay at the same time as adding something else into the mix. And for me, instantly, because I love delay and I love modulation and stuff like that with general playing, it would fit really well into my sound. So first impressions is pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some settings in that I was playing with earlier, just to show you what it would sound like with general guitar playing through it. So I'm going to take tone to 12 o'clock, I'm going to take feedback to 12 o'clock, and I'm going to take spread time and leave it on full. Well, I could certainly get lost in that for a few hours. I don't know if any of you saw, but I just engaged the Buffalo Effects Germanian fuzz to give it a bit more drama, if you want to call it that, into the echo. All that was just using the pedal with the fuzz of the guitar on a crunch channel. And the things that I enjoyed about that was that you had a lot of control over how intense it got with your volume on your guitar. And generally, you could you could get a lot of moods and stuff. Like for me, that would be perfect for the middle of a song. If we wanted to take it off somewhere, you know, and jam for, you know, 5 minutes in the middle of a song, you know, on stage, or an ambient intro to something, anything like that, I would happily use it for. Again, for recording in the background, and have layers, all sorts of stuff swimming around, panning it left, right, centre, all that kind of stuff. Luckily for Boss, you know, it's not just it doesn't strike me as being a one-trick pony. It doesn't strike me as being something that would kind of fail after a bit. It's a staple product now in the range, I think, and it will do really well. So I'm quite impressed. These are retailing at about $135. Yeah, between $130 and $140. But you can get them from all your local retailers. I go to Anderton's, so I'd go there. But yeah, very useful little thing. And quite inspirational as well, just to add to that. So another cool preset that you can do with it, that I've just kind of worked out, is if you drop the S time or the spread time all the way down, keep feedback on around 12 o'clock, push tone up to around 1 o'clock or between 1 and 2, then leave the echo level at about 3, you get a nice kind of spring reverb kind of sound. Obviously it's not bang on like a Fender Twin, but it has that, resembles kind of a spring reverb kind of sound. So yeah, I recommend getting hold of one of these. So definitely have one in my rig. Go try one out at your local music retailer sometime soon, and give it a bit of time, because these kind of effects don't just hit the nail on the head straight away for the average guitar player. You need to sit with it, mess around with it, find a good tone with your amplifier, find a good pickup selection, and actually just spend a bit of time and try and get used to the idea of what it does, and then, you know, go from there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this quick demonstration. Please subscribe. Thanks again to Jamie for sending the pedals down, and yeah, I'll see you next time.